Alright, what's going on, guys? We're going to switch it up a little bit, do kind of more of a open forum style thing. So, as you guys obviously probably already saw in the thumbnail, this video is based off starting your own brand, entrepreneurship side of the house. And this first episode is, as you read already, is what is your market? So, myself, Derek, and Douglas, we are all working on a couple of things in the background. So we wanted to open this up in an open environment so you guys can kind of see where we're coming from compared to some of these major companies that are already out there compared to your older companies such as Optimum Nutrition. Not necessarily like old school Arnold back in the day, but your early 2000s compared to your new companies such as Ghost, Alpha Elite, anything like that, integrity driven. That's just stuff on the fitness side of the house, but this can be related to any type of company based scenario. So I'm going to ask them a few questions. They're going to give me their inputs, and then I'm going to obviously give my input as well. Just so you guys kind of see the different mindsets of where things come from, just so this could possibly help you guys out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So for both of y'all, how would you describe the difference between older fitness brands and newer fitness brands?
We both go.
Yeah.
This is staying in the video.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Yeah. I'm gonna let you know this, man.
I was thinking, Dave.
I mean, old as in the sense of, like you said, not Arnold's time, but like,
old is in your early 2000s, so we're going to keep it more modern generation, but not, back in the grayscale and all that craziness or whatever. So, for instance, that's why I use the examples I use. Take a company like Optimum Nutrition or ProSups or Evergen, whatever you want it to be, compared to something new and young like Alpha Elite or Ghost, which are two of the, I guess Ghost would probably be the newest company that is out right now that is doing their thing with a younger vibe and younger environment. So with these two different type of corporation style companies, the way they market themselves, the way they operate, the difference between old versus new.
so I'd say that they're different because of their audience. So you have like the early 2000s, which mainly focused around individuals who are in the gym. But then you have these newer brands who are for all aspects of people, whether you're a fucking motocross or in the fucking gym, or just your average fucking Joe. I gotta stop swearing.
It doesn't matter.
Or your average Joe who fucking wakes up at 6 in the morning to go to work, who needs a little energy boost. So they scale it more towards your average individuals, not just people who are in the gym and for fitness, who are competing and all that other stuff. That's my take on it.
I don't necessarily know if there's like a huge difference in my opinion. Just like the older companies and the newer companies just kind of sort of have like this contrast that they have to kind of balance out to compete with each other. So like you see like the newer companies, they kind of come out with like when they first come out, they start to target like what's popular now, what's trending now, and that's some of the older companies kind of have to escape away from what they've done traditionally and try to appeal to the consumers that are interested in what's popular and what's trending, and they want to wear that, and they want to take that, and they want to use that. So I think that's kind of something that older companies kind of struggle with when it comes to their brand, just kind of having to change and adapt. I mean, some companies do well with that, and some companies don't. It just depends on how well they can, like I said, adapt and acclimate to the new, to what's going on at the times. I had something else too. I forgot it.
Okay, so what it sounds like, and I guess I agree with what both of you are saying. So from your aspect of it, you're more on the audience basis to where I would say a larger corporation generation or one of the older style fitness brands like Optimum Nutrition, Process like that, their initial niche was, let's target an audience of people that want to get fit. Let's target these people who are amateur competitors that want to go pro and be a strictly supplement-based company that's going to promote, market, provide all of these supplements to help you get to where you want to be or help you just get into the healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and you see that, that's another thing I want to bring up, like, you see Alpha Elite, they come out with a lot of different things oriented towards like lifestyle. Like a lot of things that Alpha Elite puts out is meant so that you could wear it like when you're going out or when you're just lounging around. That's different from when you've got the traditional shirts that say something physics or fitness or something aesthetics or something like that. You know what I mean? Alpha Elite's kind of strayed away and kind of from that and kind of branched out and for the consumer, you want a shirt that's versatile that you could wear when you're going out and when you're going to the gym, same shirt. Same thing with Ghost. Ghost is now, they put on their labels like, you could take Ghost when you're partying, when you're studying, like it's like freaking Adderall. But I mean, they're coming out with this stuff, so eventually, and a lot of people will do that. Like personally, I wouldn't take pre-workout when I'm trying to study, and I know Ghost says that it's okay for you to do that. But I mean, eventually these older brands are gonna have to do something that, like, yeah, we can do that too.
Right, so they're gonna have to produce a new supplement to keep up with these newer competitors.
Yes, yeah, and I think Ghost is doing well because a lot of people just like for the colors, you know.
Yeah, because
a lot of the traditional is just black and white or just strict color, and you come out and see Ghost and they got Warheads flavored and they're red and the colors are red and green and white and yellow and that's a big thing.
You say that, and that brings up something like, if you think about it, from I guess the 3 years ago when I got into fitness, it's been probably like 5 years into lifting now, but those first 3 years, and I don't know, probably the same for y'all. If you take Optimum Nutrition for example, the golden standard was the protein.
Yeah.
Everybody heard golden standard as the number one whey protein. It was the number one whey protein in the world. It had the best market. It had the best promotion. Anything that said golden standard or had that golden label was not only priced higher, but people were still buying it quicker than they were buying any of the other Optimum Nutrition products.
Yeah,
so where now people our age, young 20s, something like that, now the 18, younger kids, like even like 14, 15, 16 getting into it, they're not paying $80 for a bag of Gold Standard, which back in the day, I would have done whatever I could to find that $80 to pay for it. Now they're paying $45, $50 for Ghost cereal whey protein because the market's changed. They've thrown this cool little design on there. Their promotion's a little bit different, but the protein still does the same thing that the Gold Standard does. So not only now have they adjusted the marketing style of it, it's cheaper and it's just as effective. So I see what you're saying with Ghost comes out with this label says pre-workout for parties, gym, studying, whatever the case may be. So now how does a company, like that, they have to come back and figure out how do we keep up?
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. But as far as the audience aspect goes, you brought it up before we even started the camera and actually started filming. The thing about it, you said people doing motocross, stuff like that. You have these companies like Ghost Lifestyle, for one, they have professional skateboarders on their team, things like that. And then, for instance, Andy Frisilla, the CEO of First Form, that's a company that I guess people are still trying to figure out. I personally still don't know what their niche is, but they've got tactical guys on their team. They've got motocross individuals on their team, professional snowboarders. I mean, their audience is so wide that it's not now like us, your gym rats, or your douchebags, whatever you want to be called, who just want to work out 24/7 to stay healthy and look fit and do the whole healthy lifestyle. Now it's your motocross, your swimmers, like there's all these different types of athletes that are now being moved into the fitness industry. So the audience base there, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, that's two great points. So we'll get to the next question. So the next question is, do you think the newer generation of bodybuilding and fitness has changed how these companies operate? And before y'all answer, I'll just kind of say that I think we just kind of rolled into that. That one just kind of came off. So if y'all have any like closing remarks on that, we can talk about that, or we can just go into the next one. But I think we did kind of already cover that already when we got to the audience topic. These newer companies have a broader audience because they're not targeting, you know, your Arnold, your Lou, your Jason Post, and your Jeremy Bundy, and they're targeting, you know, your Shaun White, or your, I don't know, some famous skateboarder, whoever it is, your average Joe who has his own network, you know, ex-military. You know, these guys not making any money, but they have their own personal network because people believe what they're saying. So it's not these absolutely shredded up individuals, it's a different style of athlete, but it's still an athlete. So if you guys have anything you want to say about that, we can go over that, or we can just go into the next question.
Keep moving with that.
Okay, so the next question is going to be, what in your opinion do these new companies have going for them that are making them so successful?
I just think just the social media presence. You know, yeah, like social media really has just kind of boomed within the last, I mean, I would say like really like the last 5 years with Instagram and Twitter. And now like a company pays a certain person with, you know, 500,000 Instagram followers, you know, enough money, and that's boom, you know, within a couple days they have, you know, half of those followers following them now. So I think it's really easy for new companies to kind of start branching themselves out like that. That's something that traditionally, like I said, like I brought up before, that older companies kind of have to adapt to. You know what I mean? They may not have had a social media presence back in the day, so they need to just kind of adapt to, you know, changing times. So.
I agree with what Derek said.
So just kind of the same thing here. That's a solid point. I watched a video the other day, and I'm trying to think who it was that said it, but it makes perfect sense when you say with the social media. You know, you're not like searching around to find the magazines or the magazine rack in a store to, you know, get that fix or get that knowledge or information that you're looking for. Now it's falling in front of you. I mean, you have advertisements everywhere. Facebook has turned into like advertisement central.
Yeah.
Every time you scroll through that something, if it's something you've liked previously or related topic to it, it's automatically a suggested thing. And so for these newer companies, I agree with you. I feel like they have that extra edge that, you know, these older companies didn't have, you know, like 6-7 years ago when it was just starting out. So for that portion, I think the social media influence is huge. Like you said, YouTube. I mean, you have one of these companies that, I mean, we'll use Optimum Nutrition for instance. They could take Steve Cook, their #1 male athlete, as a no-name guy from Idaho, and be like, hey, you have a great body, you have a great mindset, you fit what the company is looking for. If they would have had YouTube at the time, you know, a brand like Optimum Nutrition would have hundreds of thousands of followers, because everybody knows that if they're plugged into the YouTube channel, they're plugged into the information. Kind of like how Alphalete is with Christian Guzman. He started on YouTube. So if Optimum Nutrition has something like that, you can only imagine where they would be now with an individual like Steve Cook. You could take a guy from Boise, Idaho, a personal trainer, and say, we're going to put you on our page so people can see you as our male athlete. And like you said, within the next few days, you know, you're no longer making, if you're, I mean, a good personal trainer in a certain area, you're no longer making maybe $120,000 annually. Now you're making $120,000 every 2-3 months. So I think that is spot on. I mean, that's about as accurate as it gets. So with that, we'll move into the next question here, which is, so this one is a little bit, this is a personal, I mean, this whole setting is an opinion-based question, but this is based off, and for this, let's specifically use Alphalete and Ghost Lifestyle, stuff like that, compared to Optimum Nutrition and Pro Subs. So I know we're like beating on these two, but for us, that's what we're used to seeing. So for you guys, just kind of, this is any scenario, so if there's something you can relate to this, relate it to this, but for us specifically, for me specifically, with this being my channel, this is how I'm gonna relate it to you guys. So with that, would you say that the success of these companies come from the owner themselves or the team surrounding them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say it is the people you surround yourself with, because one saying I've heard a lot is, you show me who you hang out with and I'll show you who you are. If you have a team that's gonna build you up, then anything's possible. You can branch off and be able to, I don't know, I'm at a loss for words right now, but shit, I need to
No, I mean, it's definitely, I definitely don't think that it's just the owner, you know what I mean? Like, for Athlete per se, like, Christian did a lot by himself, you know what I mean? And obviously, he's the biggest person that, like, to attribute, you know, their success. But without his team surrounding him, his friends, you know, that supported him, like, I think he said multiple times that, like, a lot of people, you know, were real negative about his brand when it first came out. And, you know, but he stuck with it. I'm sure the people around him helped out. And then signing like the Athlete athletes and that stuff like that. And that just sends, you know, that just brings in followers from this person, and that person, and this area, and this region. You know, he's getting people from the UK now. You know what I mean? It's definitely something that you have to have a good group of people around you when you start, and that are on board with you, and to you know, provide constructive criticism, you know, but at the same time, it's up to the owner to kind of like, you know, have their vision set, you know what I mean, and so yeah, I mean, it can be attributed to both, but it can't be done just one person, really, in my opinion.
Now, I like what you said there, because it is the aspect of both, because you're right, like you take Christian Guzman. I mean, dropped out of college, did his thing, whatever, stayed with it. But then if you take his athletes, it's not Jason Poston, it's not 4-time Mr. Olympia, or I guess soon to be if he wins this year, but 3-time Mr. Olympia, Jeremy Buendia, whoever the case may be, that already has 1-point-something million followers. It's Charlie Coker from Houston, Texas, at the University of Houston. Or it's Max Tuning, who was already doing his own thing, but had no connection to Christian Guzman.
Yeah.
So it's all these average individuals that have a couple hundred, couple thousand subscribers on YouTube, but in the YouTube world or the social media world, their influence is nothing, because you still have these social media people who have 4.5 million followers, 1.2 million followers, have all these followers, to where 2,000 might be a lot to us or somebody else, but that's nothing to the social media market.
And that's one of the things I like that they did is, you know, they could have reached out to like the Steve Coker or Buendia, or, you know, the big names and stuff like that. But instead, I think they kind of directed their who they wanted to get to people that fit the brand. You know what I mean? They have a good social media presence and things like that, but they also fit the brand very well. They have like a lot of them they're all friends with each other. You know what I mean? Like there's not really many companies that all the sponsored athletes for that company are all hanging out and doing videos together and doing shows together and things like that. You know what I mean? So it kind of has that like sort of like family vibe to it, and friends vibe to it, and they fit that athlete image and the type of thing.
And you say that, and I feel like in that sense that makes that company that much more valuable to the consumer.